Just as a little bit of an update, I know a lot of other content creators have covered this story. So we are technically right now, depending on when you're watching this, going from day 6 of this boy missing into day 7. So generally, for a lot of reasons, I normally don't talk about missing children's stories for a number of reasons, but this one I was compelled to. So thank you for those who trusted my voice and my opinion and my platform and asked me to speak on this. So I'm grateful for that. But we're going to talk about this boy who needs some justice. He is missing. Let me give you a disclaimer and then we'll go from there. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. And I'm pulling this story from NewportNewTimes.com. So if they are listening, thank you for this article. So that little boy, his name is Dane Paulsen in Siletz, Oregon, or Siletz, Oregon. I don't know how to really pronounce it. I'm sure somebody will correct me, but this is out of Oregon. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office and partnering agencies are continuing search operations for Dane Paulsen. Investigators continue to follow up on informational tips. Below is a comprehensive update on the full operation. So if y'all have never heard of this, I'm going to give y'all a lot of information in a little bit of time. And they also have plans for continuing efforts to try to find him and bring him home. So his disappearance. On Saturday, March the 1st of 2025, so this was actually, like I say, 5 or 6 days ago, depending on when you're watching this. So as of March 1st of 2025, which is the day he went missing at approximately 4:25 p.m., the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office was notified of a missing, of a missing 2-year-old male, Dane Paulsen. That's the 2-year-old boy that's missing. Handsome young man right there. At the time of his disappearance, Dane was reported to be playing in the yard of a residence located near milepost 21 on Siletz River Highway in Siletz, Oregon. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Dane was wearing a gray fuzzy hoodie with ears, blue and white shoes, and black pants. He has brown hair and green eyes. A gold 1990 station wagon was seen in the area before Dane went missing and was initially listed as a vehicle of interest. Before community tips, the vehicle and driver were located on March the 2nd. After officials thoroughly interviewed and investigated both the driver and car, they were found to be unrelated to Dane's disappearance and are no longer a point of interest in this operation. So that was the only thing that they had at first, which is right there. So they've dismissed that for now. Now, upon notification of Dane's disappearance, members of the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, Siletz Valley Fire, Oregon State Police, Newport Police Department, Lincoln City Police Department, and Lincoln County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue responded to the scene. Investigators interviewed Dane's parents, and emergency personnel immediately began searching the residential property and surrounding areas. I always told you guys, where there's smoke, there's fire. I always believe in searching the parents and investigating them and searching that house, because you just never know. Now, in addition to ground searches, aerial drones with thermal imaging also allowed responders to widen the initial and ongoing search. Now, officials, Sheriff's Office volunteers from Search and Rescue and the mounted posse searched the property and surrounding area. The search included the home and structures, neighboring properties, nearby roads, rough terrain, included forested areas with thick, dense brush, and portions of Siletz River and river banks. It's just a big place. In addition to official agencies and volunteer groups, community volunteers showed up en masse to help search. The Elks Toki Elahi campground hosts took the lead to organize community volunteers to help lead additional efforts from Saturday, March 1st through March the 4th. Now, although official search operations continued during the evening and dark hours, community volunteers were encouraged to pause their search due to safety concerns related to visibility and navigation made it worse in rough terrain. Let's see. They're giving all of the agencies. Now, ongoing efforts. The terrain in the overall search area included surrounding properties, forested, rough terrain, and Siletz River and riverbanks. Due to a thorough search and coverage of these areas, search operations will now be focusing on a more concentrated area, highlighting the Siletz River. Emergency responders have had watercraft searching the river since the morning of Sunday March 2nd, and divers began searching the river on Monday, March the 3rd. With the surrounding land being thoroughly searched as possible, evidence has indicated they need to concentrate further search efforts on the Siletz River. Though the land within the search area, there's a lot of information. Again, you'll have to look this up on newportnewtimes.com. Though the land within the search area has been thoroughly combed, we cannot guarantee the areas are clear. Even with specialized equipment and search canines, it is possible to miss a small child that may be hidden by thick brush or other visual impairments. Although there is no evidence to suggest criminal activity in Dane's disappearance, investigators continue to review tips reported to the tip line. Now, community members and the media can expect updates as significant information becomes available. So that's all they have right now. Yep. Let me say this. Because DJ Just Jay is not so kind, and I think that this is why most people actually come to my channel, because some of y'all in the chat, I see y'all are typing it in there. Some of y'all know how I feel. I'm not so kind to the parents who can't keep their eyes on their kid out playing in the yard and you just left them unsupervised and now your kid is disappearing, and knowing that you hear all of these stories going on, a kid being kidnapped, disappearing, drowning in rivers and stuff like that, and you mean to tell me that y'all weren't going to watch this baby? You left them unsupervised? And on top of that, even with all of these people breaking into our country illegally, not knowing where, who, what, when, and why, yes, I'm going to point the strong, stern finger at the parents and say, what the hell were y'all doing? That's just me, though. That's just me. I think that in itself is a crime. I get it if y'all don't feel that way, but that's just how I feel. Let me give you guys the fair usage.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
If y'all would do me a favor and click that thumbs up and share this video so more people can see it. Let's take a look at these news videos, and y'all just hit that thumbs up. Super easy to do. Here we go.
We will start with this. It's been 5 days since 2-year-old Dane Paulsen disappeared from his family's front yard in Siletz, Oregon. And the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office is now focusing on the city as well as the river there. And since Dane was last seen near the river's edge, that's where they're focusing their efforts. Searchers have combed over 682 acres and 341 miles with no sign of Dane. The Sheriff's Office says the case will remain a priority.
We know this is a difficult time for Dane's family, and we're doing everything we can to bring him home. From the bottom of my heart, and on behalf of Dane's family, thank you for all you have done.
Law enforcement there is suspending the volunteer search as they are emphasizing that they are not giving up on finding Dane. Close to 100 volunteers from around the Pacific Northwest have helped with the volunteer search effort. Again, law enforcement continues their search.
Okay, Michaela, thank you. We are now on day 5 of the search for a 2-year-old who went missing from his home in Siletz in Lincoln County.
Fox News' McKenna Mark spoke with community members about the search efforts today and has the latest updates. Today is day 5 in the search for missing 2-year-old Dane Paulsen. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office announced yesterday that its crews are shifting its focus to the Siletz River, and community members I spoke to today tell me all they can do now is hope. According to the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, crews have covered over 682 acres, 341 walking miles.
Somebody in the chat actually just said what I was thinking. You must have read my mind. Y'all must watch me a lot, because we literally are on the same page. You said, I want to see the parents speak. Shout out to you, Maureen. I was literally thinking about that because, you could tell a lot from body language. I would love to see them do a public televised interview with the news station and just say, hey, tell us what you think happened, what was going on, and where do you think your kid could be? What do you think happened? I just want to hear them speak. Now, granted, I get that maybe they're trying to protect the parents, but no, this ain't about the parents and they MFing feelings. Y'all heard me? This ain't about they MFing feelings. This is about trying to find your small 2-year-old kid. Huh? Y'all hear me? Where art thou and who should thou have sympathy for? For grown-ass parents? Or for a 2-year-old kid? But again, that's how I personally feel. I'm not too worried about the parents' feelings. I'm worried about trying to find this child. And people should not be afraid to hold parents accountable for the bad choices that they're making. You should never let a 2-year-old, that baby ain't 3, 4, or 5. I wouldn't let a 5-year-old, a 7, a 10, 12, 13. I wouldn't let a 13-year-old out of my sight. Huh? My daughter is about to be 18 this year. I just started letting my daughter out of my sight. But guess what? This little trip that me and her got planned, guess who's going with her? This guy. She's damn near 18 years old, and daddy is still there to watch her, provide, and protect her. Who's going to cry for Dane, the little 2-year-old boy? Not for the parents, for the little boy. Now, let's go.
And 14 river miles. But Wednesday is the first day in the search for missing 2-year-old Dane Paulsen. The crews are primarily focused on the Siletz River.
I'm hoping that the family gets their son back.
I spoke to Dennis Dole, who works next door to the Paulsen family's restaurant in Depot Bay. The sheriff's office said it's thanks to the local residents that they've been able to cover so much ground so quickly. Dole tells me it's no surprise to see everyone in this small but tight-knit community come together to help.
We may be small here in Depot Bay, but the surrounding towns to Depot Bay, we make a big family as one as a community, and we help them out as much as we can no matter what.
The sheriff's office says that there is no reason to believe that foul play is involved. And while the volunteer search operation has been suspended, deputies urge anyone still searching for Dane on their own to prioritize their own safety and obtain permission to go on private property. Fox 12 spoke to the volunteer coordinator on Tuesday, who said people had been coming from Washington, California, and Idaho to help with the early search efforts.
Actually, it makes me happy to see that not just our community, but the communities from states around are helping out, trying to bring back this little boy.
The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office says it's using drones, divers, watercrafts, canines, and more for its search in and along the river. To share information about Dane's appearance, you can access a tip line through our mobile app. In Siletz, McKenna Marks, Fox 12.
Well, Stephanie, the search for Dane Paulsen continues this afternoon with members of the community and law enforcement taking part. One thing is for sure, though, members of this small Oregon community have really rallied behind Dane's family. It's now been roughly 4 days since 2-year-old Dane Paulsen went missing from the front lawn of his family's home in Siletz. Since then, hundreds of people have taken part in the search efforts in this tight-knit community.
Our hearts just ache for the family. For the community, right? Because every loss in a small community like this is devastating.
Lisa Norton is the Chief Administrative Officer with the Confederate Tribes of Siletz. Norton told us it's been heartwarming to see the outpouring of support in the aftermath of Dane's disappearance.
The call went out and people showed up. I witnessed it myself and was so moved by that many people for such a tragic but important reason.
Norton says most people in the area grow up going to the same schools and taking part in the same activities. Many know each other or are related.
It devastates each of us because there's very few degrees of separation when something like this happens.
The search for Dane is now focused on the Siletz River, with divers and search and rescue crews combing the waters near the family's home. These photos from the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office show an up-close look at the dive teams at work. Norton expressed gratitude to everyone who has helped support Dane's family in the last 4 days.
So I'd like personally to thank the volunteers, law enforcement, search and rescue, all of the agencies that have come to help during this really hard time.
And we did just receive that update about 30 or 40 minutes ago from the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office. And again, just to reiterate, the main search area right now is the Siletz River near Dane's family's home. Stephanie and Tim, back to you.
And it goes on.
Again, my prevalent thought is, how do we get to this point? Y'all see how small this baby is. This should not happen. I know parents aren't perfect, but one thing that you can do, you can put forth a really valiant effort to keep track of your kids. And I just don't feel like that was done here. You left a 2-year-old just out playing unattended in the yard. To me, that just sounds like neglected itself. But will they get charged for that? Probably not. But nonetheless, keep prayers open. We're going on day 7, day 6 of this kid being missing. That's not good. So pray that they can get some resolution here pretty soon, and pray that Dane is still alive. So keep prayers up. We'll do an update whenever we get one, okay? Thank you, guys.